Happy Friday to all my people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 93 and season 3, episode 26 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. It's your boy Stony, back for the 93rd time, and I'd like to welcome all my fellow hoodlums, scumbags, cheats, lowlifes, hustlers, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, foul-mouthed, raging alcoholics with abusive language, fienders and degenerates and Italians. I mean, let's face it, if you're Italian, you probably check all those boxes. If you're new to the show, hey, you probably fit into one of those categories, so welcome, and make sure to hit the subscribe button right down here in the lower right-hand corner so you can be notified every time I put out a new video. Usually around this time on Friday evening, unless I tell you otherwise. To spread the word is very easy. Just tell other hoodlums to go to YouTube and enter hashtag STONIE'S winners, all in one word. That's not Stony, S-T-O-N-E-Y, but it's S-T-O-N-I-E-S winners, just like it says in the bottom left, down here, right next to my picture. That'll take you directly to my page. You hear that? You hear that? For the first time, I've got a soundtrack. 93 episodes, and this is the first time I've got a soundtrack. You listen closely. That's Greek music. I'm watching the Greek Folk Dance Festival right now from Phoenix, and this is the group from Downey, California. They're doing a Pontic suite right now, so I just love it, just hearing the music. I think I'm going to start having a soundtrack from now on every week. Well, this week it's Greek. All right? Now, right here down in the bottom right-hand corner, Stony's winners, right? That's it. That'll take you right to my page. Spread the word, please. And let's start with a couple of thoughts before we get to the picks. And you got to start with a Super Bowl 57 recap. I mean, I'll get to my wagers in a minute, but as for the game, it was a very good one, that's for sure. The anomaly was that Kansas City outrushed Philadelphia, which nobody saw coming, and the fact that the Eagles did not sack Patrick Mahomes once in the entire game just validates how dominating the Chiefs' offensive line was, paving the way to 38 points despite being dominated in time of possession. It's just crazy. Mad props go out to Jalen Hurts for an exceptional game in a losing effort. Aside from his fumble that was turned into a scoop and score for Kansas City, Hurts was incredible, despite not getting any support from his ground game, his defense, or his special teams. A couple more points. If you were on Philly like I was, I don't want to hear complaints about the defensive hold with a minute and a half left. Was it holding? Yes. Was it ticky-tack? Yes. Should the Super Bowl be decided by that kind of penalty? Well, that's something that can be debated. Speaking of debating, all week long on Sports Talk Radio and the talking heads of ESPN on Fox Sports 1 have been hurting my eardrums, asking each other if this constitutes a dynasty for the Chiefs. Really? Granted, they've been to 5 straight AFC championships and 3 trips to the Super Bowl in the past 4 years. But with only 2 wins, 3 out of 5 is a borderline dynasty like San Francisco Giants did a decade ago in the MLB. 3 out of 4 is definitely a dynasty. But why is everyone so eager to call Mahomes an all-time great and the Chiefs a dynasty? There shouldn't be a hurry. Take your time. Andy Reid's place in Canton is secure. But Mahomes and the Chiefs have a long way to go until they reach iconic status. Also, in the post-game afterglow of winning the title, Mahomes and tight end Travis Kelce were using every opportunity to grab the microphone and bust the balls of the, quote, naysayers and the haters. Really? Who are the ones that doubted you? At the start of the season, Buffalo was plus 500 to win the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs were plus 550. The second best odds to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's right. Many said they would take a hit without Tyreek Hill, but Las Vegas didn't buy into it. The Chiefs were favored in 19 of their 20 games this year, but Mahomes and Kelce want you to believe that, quote, everybody that doubted us can eat their words. I'd like Mahomes and Kelsey to point out who these people are. And now that the season is over, the unconscionable, overbearing NFL offseason, hearing about Aaron Rodgers every day is all we have to look forward to. No, thank you. College hoops are ramping up. Championship week is about 3 weeks out, and pitchers and catchers have already reported. And if you're in the NBA, the stretch drive begins after this weekend's All-Star game before the unsufferable 2.5-month playoffs. And lastly, I have to mention a rest in peace to Tim McCarver. He died 2 days ago at the age of 81 at his home in Memphis. One of the few players to play in 4 decades, McCarver was an All-Star, a 2-time World Series champ, and he caught 2 Hall of Famers for years, in Bob Gibson and Steve Carlton in Philadelphia. After he retired, he went into broadcasting and was one of the best color men to ever step behind the mic. He called 24 World Series, which is still a record, and I credit McCarver as one of my biggest influences in wanting to become a broadcaster. His famous feud with primetime Deion Sanders in the locker room of the Atlanta Braves winning the NLCS was pure gold. As Deion repeatedly kept throwing champagne on McCarver, "Where's McCarver? Where's McCarver?" Remember that? Until McCarver uttered the famous words, "You're a real man, Deion." Just Google it. It is priceless. After losing Billy Packer last month and now Tim McCarver, Heaven's broadcasting wing just got a lot more loaded. And happy 60th birthday today to someone by the name of Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You ever heard of him? Do you feel old now knowing that Mike is 60? As for the picks last week, guess what? I had another huge Saturday that made my week. By the time Sunday rolled around, even the worst day still would have ended up being a winning week. 22-14 in college hoops solidified my dominance on the NCAAs this season and set the tone for my 12th consecutive winning week. As for Super Sunday, it's safe to say I've had better. Missing both the side and the total was the capper, but we did manage to cash a few prop bets, which was nice. I hit 8 of them, exactly half of them, for a small profit. With the best one being, will there be a first half fumble lost at plus 140? That was a good one. Here are the numbers from last week. NCAA basketball, 22-14. For the season, 249 wins, 150 losses, 7 pushes, good for 62.41%. How you like me now? NFL playoffs 0-2. Finished up the NFL playoffs at 13-13 and even 50%. Ouch. Just not good. So for the week, we were 22-16, taking out the prop bets. We made a small profit on the prop bets, but not enough that it was noticeable. So last week, we were 22-16, good for 57.89%, 12 straight winning weeks. So overall, the big picture of all 26 episodes this season. 577 wins, 389 losses, and 11 pushes. 59.73%. Closing in on 60, trying to get there. You're welcome. Once again, let me remind you that all of these picks are 100% free from me to you, and we've done some serious bankroll building this season, so now it's time to continue. Excuse me. And let's kick it off tonight with a couple of Mountain West matchups, and we'll start in Laramie at 10 Eastern as Wyoming is a 4.5-point favorite over Air Force. Both teams have lost 3 out of 4, but I like the Cowboys at home behind Noah Reynolds. On the late night tonight at 10:30 Eastern, I'm going to roll with San Jose State at home, -1.5 versus New Mexico. The Spartans have won 5 out of 6 and seem to have found their groove lately, while New Mexico has been exposed for the frauds that they are. Take San Ho and dance to the window. Now let's move on to tomorrow, where there are 152 lined games to choose from. So we kind of went out and picked some and left some and picked some and left some. It's kind of overwhelming. But you can really tell that football is absolutely over right now, as college hoops is taking over Saturdays for the next 7 weeks. So prepare yourself, take your time, and fire away. All times are Eastern. Let's begin at noon at Gamble Pavilion and Stores, where I like Seton Hall plus 10.5 at 20th ranked Connecticut. The Big East is no joke. Some might say the second best conference in the nation behind the Big 12. And yes, the Huskies are a tough out at home, but the Pirates don't have to win, right? Period. All they got to do is keep it under 10.5. At noon Eastern, we have a good one at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, as number 14 Indiana is a 4-point home favorite over Illinois. An excellent matchup between the Illini's Terrence Shannon Jr. and Trace Jackson Davis for the Hoosiers is bound to take place here. Both teams are dangerous, but I like the way Indiana's defense has come together lately, while the Illini have struggled on that side of the floor. And Trace Jackson Davis is starting to play his name into a Player of the Year Wooden Award winner candidate. Give me the Hoosiers at home in a good one. Notre Dame hasn't been very good this year, and the prospect of going to Charlottesville can be daunting to anyone, especially someone that's lost 4 straight. But at noon tomorrow, I like the Irish, plus that big fat slice of 13.5 at number 7, Virginia. Also at noon, I'm going to take Texas Tech, plus 6.5 at West Virginia, who can't seem to get out of their own way these days. At noon, I'm on Rutgers, plus 1 at Wisconsin, because the Kohl Center ain't as tough as it used to be, and Rutgers is dangerous. At 1 p.m. up the road a few hours from here in Lexington at Rupp Arena, number 10 Tennessee comes to town as a short 2-point chalk against Kentucky. UT has been snake-bitten lately, but UK is hanging on for dear life to what doesn't even appear to be a ticket to the big dance. I'm all over the Vols here. I'm over Kentucky, and I'm all over the Vols here in lock of the day, number 1. At 2 p.m. in Fayetteville, I'm going to take the much deeper Razorbacks of Arkansas at home, -9 against overmatched Florida, period. We have a good one at 2 p.m. in the Little Apple of Manhattan, as number 19 Iowa State comes to town to take on 12th ranked K-State. Neither team's playing well right now. Iowa State's dropped 3 out of 5. K-State has dropped 4 out of 5 and only dropped 5 spots in the rankings because the Big 12 is so freaking tough, right? That's life in the modern Big 12. Keontae Johnson leads K-State to the win and the cover at home. Excuse me, let me get a quick little swig here. With traditional powers Duke and North Carolina not being as dominant as usual, Wake Forest has slipped into the fray of the ACC. And while Miami just might be the best team in the ACC, at 2 p.m., I'm going to take Wake on the road +7 to get the cover over the 15th ranked Canes. Also at 2, I'm going to roll with number 22 TCU -5 at home in Fort Worth over Oklahoma State. Staying in the brutal Big 12 at 2 p.m., I'm going to ride with Oklahoma on the road, catching 10.5 in Austin against 6th ranked Texas. Big number, rivalry game, I'll take all of them. At 3:30 in Oxford, I like Mississippi State -3 on the road against Ole Miss, who's basically just playing out the string right now, while Ben Howland has his Bulldogs seeking an at-large berth in a month from now. At 4 Eastern, the game of the day is clearly at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas, where number 5 Kansas is a 5-point home chalk over 9th-ranked Baylor. Both teams have won 5 out of 6 and are seeking a number 1 seed next month, but I like the Bears plus the points in what should be a great one. 4:30 p.m., I like number 24 Providence at -5 at home versus Villanova, who has really struggled without Jay Wright this year. At 6 p.m., give me Georgia +19 at top-ranked Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Yes, Bama's number 1, but they were number 1 for one day before they lost on Tuesday in Knoxville to Tennessee. They're going to come home. They're going to win easily, but they're not going to win by 20. I'll take the Dogs. At 6 p.m. in Tempe in a battle of two Pac-12 bubble squads. Give me Utah +3 on the road over Arizona State. Another battle of bubble teams is at 6, this time in the SEC, and again, I'll take the road dog here with Texas A&M +1 at Missouri. Duke is another blue blood not having a good season in their first without Mike Krzyzewski. And at 6, they head to the Carrier Dome as 1.5-point favorites over a Syracuse team that has had as many good wins as bad losses. But Judah Mintz right now is my guy. I told you about Judah Mintz, and just remember, Judah Mintz is going to be a first-round draft pick, and every game that he plays right now, he's moving up and up and up the draft boards. As a freshman, he'll be 19 next year, and he'll be in the NBA, and he's going to be a good one. So just remember, Judah freaking Mintz. He's playing well right now, and he's a matchup nightmare for Duke. So I'm going to roll with the Orangemen as the short home dog. For 5 straight weeks, Stony Brook is covered for me. Why not? They should. They should cover every week for me. And they've gotten us paid, so why break with tradition? At 6:30, give me the Seawolves +12.5 versus Hofstra. At 7 p.m., I like Gonzaga -16 at Pepperdine as the Zags keep scoring since their L to St. Mary's last week. 7:30 p.m. in Jamaica, Queens, Carnesecca Arena. I'm all over Creighton, -7 on the road against St. John's. Some think Creighton might be the most talented team in the Big East, and I'm one of them. And they saw their 7-game win streak come to an end on Tuesday, so I look for them to bounce back strong here over the Johnnies. Hear that? Just listen. I mean, love it. Sorry. 8 p.m. in Tucson. I think Arizona continues their domination over the Pac-12 mountain schools, and I'll lay the 12 over Colorado. Santa Barbara haven't been themselves lately, so at 8 p.m. I'm going to take UC Riverside, a.k.a. Cal Rivers Cruzy, +2 at home over the Gauchos. 8 p.m. Michigan State is the play of the day. Excuse me. Michigan State is the play, +2 on the road at Chrysler in Ann Arbor over Michigan. 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night, right up the road from here, I'm going to take Auburn -3.5 at Vanderbilt in lock of the day number 2. 10 p.m. at the Galen Center in Watts, I'm going to take USC -6 over Stanford, who played UCLA real tough on Thursday but came up just short. 10 p.m. I like BYU +10.5 at St. Mary's. Even though the Gales are in Moraga and are going to win this game easily, I don't see them blowing out the Cougars. And call me crazy, but tomorrow's Degenerate Special is at 10:30 p.m. in Pauley Pavilion in Westwood. I'm going to take UCLA and lay the absurd 25 points over the Golden Showers of Cal Berkeley, because that's what they've become lately. They're a complete mess. Last week, went 1-2 in my 3 locks of the day, but did hit the Degenerate Special. So gave you 2 locks this time and the Degenerate Special. So with 2 plays tonight and another 27 tomorrow, 18 and 11 is just fine with me. But in order to make those bankrolls fatter, we got to go big. So we shoot for 20 wins. So let's hit them early and let's hit them hard. And just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.